Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Casper Network, aka Casper the Friendly Ghost. And I hope everybody is having a great day or a great night, wherever you guys are out there. Today, we are going to be addressing a few things around Casper. I'm also going to be addressing the overall market size potential of this entire industry, which we will go in depth on. But first, let's start off with the holders tab. So we still see this kind of gaining some on the 24-hour span. We're up about 2.45%. We're still sitting only at 104,000 holders. I talked about this many times with other assets. Just like it's crazy how early we are on some of these assets, and Casper is no different. Like we talked about Quant and we compared it to Bitcoin. We compared it to Dogecoin, Shiba Inu. Like these are assets with millions of holders out there. So think about it like this. Think about the day where Casper has a million plus holders or even just 500,000 holders. That's a 5x from here on the holders tab. And that is such a small amount of individuals holding an asset. It's 104,000 holders. This is barely scratching the surface of where we are headed within this market. This is how early we are in crypto. This is how early we are in these projects. And think about a future where, 50% of the general public is aware of what crypto is doing and they are investing in this technology. Now, are we going to get to 50% overnight? No, but I do believe that that is going to be a feature eventually. Now, also, one thing about Casper that I've always found very interesting is the supply. So a lot of people have been talking about the supply over on Twitter. I just recently seen, as I was researching, quite a bit of discussions around like, oh, well, the supply is way too much, so the price is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. I don't know why people look at the supply for Casper and get so terrified around it. Like, as we look at the overall supply with Casper, it's sitting at about 10.7 billion. The total staked amount is 8 almost 9 billion, so 77% of the total supply is locked away. And this only has an 8% year over year inflation. It will take 9 years for the supply to double. And even at that 9-year time frame where the supply is doubled, it's nowhere even close to most of the top 25 assets in their supply. So again, I don't see the reason why everyone is getting so concerned over the supply ratio. I think that it is a perfect supply ratio. Now let's also take a look real quick at the chart. So I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I have been looking at the chart for Casper, and I've been looking at other assets. One level that is very interesting to me is the currently 203-day EMA. This will be at around like roughly almost 9 cents. It will be at like 8.5 cents itself. This will most likely be this level here, which is again just reclaiming the support zone from September of 2021. It's kind of right within the median area of our all-time high. Well, I shouldn't say all-time high, but our high from November of 2021, and then also our bottoming structure support zone, which is at like 3.5 cents right now. If we lose 3.5 cents, then yeah, we probably go well under 3 cents and target 2.5 cents again. But I highly doubt that that's going to be the case, depending on how you think that this market is going to go going forward. But why am I targeting this 203-day EMA? Well, let's go take a look at two charts. So here is Matic. Matic has done very, very well. In fact, as we look at the chart for this, this has bottomed out back in June. I also think that most of the market has bottomed out around June or November, depending on the asset. Like here's HBAR. HBAR basically bottomed out back in December, at the end of December. All altcoins are different on how they really kind of move within this market, but Matic has been one of those assets that has been very, very strong. But we bottomed out there. We came down. We kind of retested a low at the end of the December, kind of signaling that, hey, this has bottomed out, because it's like multiple bottoms that we've seen on the chart during that time. But you can see that this reclaimed all EMAs, and it is continuously moving now. And it's actually reclaimed areas from 2022 and also 2021 in terms of like support ranges. I believe that this is going to be the case on a lot of these assets. And I do believe that HBAR is getting to that point, whereas the 200 EMA It's at about 11.5 cents. The crazy thing is that once we get that, I do think that we're going to be targeting 13.5 cents to reclaim the summer lows and most likely target 20 cents. Now, if we do see that on Casper, we would be breaking out of that 203-day EMA and again reclaiming the 2021 lows, also reclaiming the 2021 lows of the summertime, and will most likely be going to target possibly anywhere between 13 cents to 20 cents as well. But if we do reclaim this high, then things are going to get very, very interesting, as we will most likely continue to go much, much higher. But still, we have a long way to go. We still have to reclaim this 200 EMA zone and then see what happens after that. But we have been focused on price action compared to most altcoins, and we are just waiting for Casper to catch up to other altcoins and their respective zones. So right now, my main target on Casper price action wise is, first off, we need to break out of this falling wedge that we've been really kind of in. We start to break out above it slightly, but we still got hit with a significant resistance area at almost 5 cents. I want us to make a higher high for once. We have been making lower highs since we pumped back in October. So if we can get to a point where we get above this high, then yeah, I do think that this will be targeted pretty quickly. So that's what we are watching for right now. But with that in mind, let's talk about the overall addressable market for Casper. So, one, we know that Casper 2.0 is on its way. We know that this is going to most likely be happening within Q3 of this year. With that, we also have a lot more use cases to go live. There's a lot more partnerships in place. There's probably going to be a lot more listings, all that kind of fun stuff that everybody has been waiting on for some time. But we do see from the X Frontier, Casper 2.0 will bring unified accounts and contracts. An interesting feature unique to Casper is that contracts will be able to stake the network and pay for transactions. An intuitive UX, user interface, is key for mass adoption. Could a subscription model bring more demand for Casper token? Thoughts? And this is from Amir Casper talking to Meta about this. Listen closely to this video.
So what does this do? Well, this becomes really, really cool because contracts will be able to pay for the execution of users. So users will be able to sign transactions, but the contract will pay for it. And so what does that do to the UX, like I talked about before, right? It makes the UX a whole hell of a lot easier. I can interact with the DApp. I can pay a subscription fee the way I've always paid for subscription fees. If I have this cool DApp, I'll pay $10 a month for a game or whatever, and now I can sign all these transactions, and the game just covers my costs, and it just meters it, right? And then when I've used up my transactions, I may have to upgrade my account to unlimited or upgrade, right? And so this is all doable. This is the way software has always been built. This is the way users expect to interact with their software. Sending them off to an exchange for them to go ahead and get some token doesn't make any sense at all. So what does this do? Well, this...
And, you know, it really is the idea that, like, Casper has been, the entire team behind Casper has been targeting mass adoption. They've been targeting enterprise-grade adoption. The technology here is completely different than anything else out there. Casper 2.0 is going to be a big game changer. I strongly believe that going forward, a lot of people are going to be surprised by what Casper does. Right now, yeah, we have just been trailing. Like, I talked about this many times with other assets that will have this, you know, period of time where most people don't care about an asset just because of price action. And right now would be technically the best time to be looking at Casper, as we're just kind of just trailing here in a slow uptrend, right? But the thing that we will most likely see on a lot of these assets is we'll get to that point where it just kind of trails sideways, shaking people out that are impatient and they're seeing other assets jump, so they're going to sell and they're going to go into other assets. But then we'll get something like this where we all of a sudden, boom, we just go. And during this time up, you'll have people buying here, you'll have people buying up here, and then you'll have people buying the top, of course. we'll see that growth happen. We've seen it with other assets. ADA is a perfect one. HBAR is a perfect one as well, where we didn't really see a lot of people caring about HBAR during this time. Then all of a sudden, boom, we get that nice spike, and then everybody is like buying HBAR. Sorry, I was about to say Casper. They're buying HBAR at like 10 plus cents, 15 plus cents, and so on. So as we do look at a lot of what's happening in this market, like I do believe that Casper is becoming that big game-changing technology, and we're not the only ones. In fact, over here on techtarget.com, we see in the top 10, the 10 most promising tools for Web3 development. And they do talk about Web 2 in here. They talk about the overall gap. They talk about the differences in terms of like centralization, decentralization, all that kind of stuff. But also, they talk about, the most interesting technology around this. So first off, we do see Casper. So as we look at Casper itself, Casper is a smart contract platform that supports popular Web 2.0 development languages like Rust and WebAssembly. It includes tools that help update smart contracts with bug fixes, as well as new features and functionality. It is focused on enterprise use cases to help organizations adopt software development best practices such as continuous integration and delivery for blockchain apps. And yes, as we do look at enterprise-grade adoption, like I said, Casper is focused on this, and we already know that 87% of enterprises have stated that they're going to invest in blockchain technology in this year alone. So think about that, right? 87% of enterprises are going to be investing this year. As we look at Casper and we look at the market cap of Casper, we know that it is roughly around $405 million. That is absolutely nothing compared to what we see in the top 10, the top 25, etc. Now, as we look at that, right, where is this market headed? Because I know that a lot of people get blinded by short-term price action. Like they're like, okay, well, where's Casper going to be at the end of 2023? Where's Casper going to be at, in the next month? I want to share with you guys something very interesting. So as we look at Web 2.0 and we look at Web 3.0, the addressable market cap for Web 3.0 could be much higher than what most people anticipate. This article here is talking about how Web 3.0 today is sitting at a market cap of $2.86 billion. This says that Web3 can be as high as $116.5 billion by 2033. I love seeing things like this, right? I love seeing things like this where we see possibilities of where the market could go, because most of these predictions get completely blown out, and it's just like, okay, well, they were saying that it was going to be this. It's actually this now. In my opinion, and I've talked about this many times on this channel, I do strongly believe that Web 3.0 will be a $100 trillion plus asset class. And when we talk about Web 3, I technically mean crypto, right? I think that the entire crypto market cap will essentially be $100 trillion plus. And when we look at that and we take a look at the overall majority that are a part of this market and what they believe that the market share value could be. Like, this is from M13. We've talked about M13 in the past and their prediction. They believe that if we follow the same pattern from Web 1 to Web 2 to Web 3, we could have a potential $140 trillion market cap at scale. Now, at scale, it's going to take some time, but you do see that Web 1 lasted roughly 30 years. Web 2 is sitting at 23 years, and Web 3 is rising, and it's on its way. I do believe that it's not going to take too much longer until Web 3 really kind of overshadows what Web 2 is doing. I think that's only a matter of time. I still think that there's some obstacles there, but by 2030, 2035, all of crypto could be worth anywhere between $50 to $100 trillion in market cap. Why do I think that? Well, when we take a look at just the market share value of the metaverse, because this is saying Web 3, but we all know that this is mainly from metaverse related predictions from Citi as well as McKinsey. McKinsey believes that the overall market share value of the metaverse could be $5 trillion by 2030. Citi believes that it could be anywhere between $8 to $13 trillion by 2030. This is for Web 3, they're saying, but Again, I think mainly this is around like the metaverse. But again, nobody knows. Nobody knows what could happen. But I do think that by 2030 itself, we could see a very different picture. As we're looking at the overall market cap of crypto right now, and we are trying to put a price prediction on it, if we're talking about Bitcoin going to 100K plus, we're talking about Ethereum going to $5,000 to $10,000, and then we're talking about all of the altcoins. I mean, market cap could be anywhere between 10 to 15 trillion dollars at the top here soon, which could be this year, it could be 2024, 2025. If you're following the 4-year cycle, wave 5, it all depends on what you're looking at. But the overall market value that all of these tokens are going to morph into, it's going to be a $100 trillion plus asset class. I just don't see a world where crypto is not worth $100 trillion plus. And when we take a look at that, like, it's going to be empowered by enterprises and the retail sector. And, Casper itself is focused on this. It's truly focused on this. And we're starting to see things move pretty quick. Again, enterprises are here. Enterprises want to utilize this technology. Institutions want to utilize this technology. It's only a matter of time. And with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, hope that you all have a beautiful day, beautiful night. If you guys are on this before, this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.